too tough, tough enough. Where are we on the way we're grading Giannis the performer so far at this point in his career and at this point in the playoffs?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I've met everybody but you that knows you, and so it's good to kindly be on your show. And I'll tell you this. I think Giannis is such a misnomer in this sense. When you have your superstars that have been all-star candidates or rather been MVP candidates more than anything else, they usually have a bite to them. They have a uptick to them. He's just such a nice guy. And I think in being a top 10, top 15 player currently in the NBA, I think his accent throws people off. And so I think the combination of being a nice guy, the combination of having hardware and people wanting him to go to these next steps, he's finally there. I just think that he's in a very interesting place. And I think that people tried to put that not tough characterization on him. So I think all those things being considered, he's somewhere between like Allen Iverson and Tim Duncan. I feel like Tim Duncan was such a nice guy, but people never gave him their props. But I feel like when you look at Allen Iverson, everybody wanted to do the killer crossover like him. I think Giannis is somewhere in the middle between there. And so I think when you look at Giannis and the criticism, I think the only criticism you have this year is simply the fact that, you know, people are now saying he doesn't have a supporting cast. You know, a couple weeks ago it was Chris Middleton was the best player on the team. Giannis was the sidekick. Like, the storyline changes every daggone day. It's like the most inconsistent storylines as it relates to that. It's like going to your favorite restaurant and the food is cooked different every time.
Which is such a great analogy because, like, for me, when I find a certain thing that I like at a restaurant, I will go back to that restaurant for that one thing over and over again because I like consistency. And let's be real, like
Right.
Middleton and Holiday have not necessarily been consistent, but I also think that we as a overall media have just been so in love with these huge takes one way or the other. I'm not sure that we're really watching any of this series for what it is. Like, how much credit does Devin Booker defensively get for what we've seen out of Middleton and Holiday in the first two games?
Well, I think when you look at Devin Booker, I think if he's that consistent thing on the menu, I feel like you're used to getting chicken and waffles from Devin Booker, consistent scoring. You can't mess up chicken and waffles. Everybody talks about the fact that he can score, he's the masked man. But then it's like now all of a sudden, not only is he giving you chicken and waffles on the consistency there, but he's giving you peach cobbler on defense, which is a good thing. You know, like, I think if I'm not mistaken, whenever Devin Booker guarded both Middleton and Jrue Holiday, they shot 1 for 11 from the field. I believe that was a stat I pulled up today. So, like, you get mid-range game. People make the Kobe Bryant comparisons. I think it's easy to make the Rip Hamilton comparisons because of the mask, but actually just sticking to what he knows and playing that way of basketball, I just think that he's giving you more than just scoring, and that's why I like him.
So we're talking to Scoop B. Robinson, Brandon Robinson, Bally Sports basketball analyst. So, Scoop, as I continue to look at this series, the one thing that really, I think, stood out to me in Game 2, because I kind of expected the Suns would win the first two games, but what really hit me is that Milwaukee gave them everything, every way. We keep talking about Milwaukee lack of adjustments. No, they tried everything. It just didn't work. So other than just going home and hoping to shoot better at home, what can Milwaukee do to get a different outcome?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I think when you look at the Phoenix Suns as a whole, you know that you're going to get a healthy dose of Devin Booker. You know that Chris Paul is going to flirt with a triple-double. He's done it the last two games. Ayton was kind of the thing that you were hoping would kind of teeter-totter, and he did. You know, I think he didn't score in the first quarter, I believe it was. And then, like, he had 10 and 11. But then a funny thing happened. Mikal Bridges stepped up. And so that's the disappointing thing for the Bucks because, you know, Giannis had 42. Jrue Holiday's had 17, and he stepped up. But the other thing is this. In Game 2, what really did the Bucks in was their lack of three-point shooting. The Suns shot 50%. Even with a Bucks team, I think that outplayed them in the paint. I think I saw a stat where they scored most of their points in the paint. They were horrible from downtown. And then Bobby Portis, he has like this home and away thing going where like he plays well at home. The fans keep him going, but he was ghost. 2 points in 5 minutes. That's got to change. Middleton, even with not scoring a ton of points, still almost total a triple-double. But Pat Connaughton was kind of their saving grace, 14 points in that game. This is a series where I believe the Bucks really need an injured Dante DiVincenzo, and he's not in. Hurt in the first round, and here we are now.
That's a really good point. When Pat Connaughton is your saving grace, things aren't going the way anybody thought in this series. You tweeted out a picture just a little bit ago of Bugs Bunny and Lola Bunny. Where are you on Space Jam 2? Let's get to the real talk here. Like, you in on Space Jam 2?
I got a sneak peek of it. I think people will like what they see. I will tell you that LeBron's move to LA was so ingenious because in 2018 when he was making his decision on where to go, that was one of the many projects that he was working on, and I kind of was clued in on that. And I'll tell you that I think you kind of have to observe Space Jam 2 as in the same way that some people should have looked at Coming to America 2. You can't judge it based off the first. It's its own thing.
Yeah, that's fair, and that's why, frankly, I never saw Coming to America 2. I was too scared. Like, Coming to America is too much of a cultural icon for me to take any chance that anything lessens that in any way in my mind. So, yeah, I'm with it, though. I'll try it a little bit. Follow him on Twitter, @ScoopB. Man, we appreciate your time, your insight. Thanks so much for joining me. Had a fun conversation. Really appreciate the fact that we finally get to hang out, my friend. Thank you so much.
Brother, thank you for the opportunity to be myself. I'll talk to you soon.